All right, Jeremiah 51:7. Okay, so Babylon America has been that golden cup. All right, that America that the Lord is going to use. All right, to have these nations pursue and follow after. Why? Because America, Babylon the Great, the U.S. of A, is going to be the leader, of this technology. All right, and you're going to have other countries, what, ensuing after it. Why? Because they want to take down America. All right, they want to take down the beast. They want to be the beast, but the beast, which is Rome all over again, America, has already been predestined to be America. Okay, so these other countries, they are never going to rule again. They've already had their time in the sun, and now it's the last age of this heathen to rule, which is America, which is the Edomites. Okay, because don't get it twisted, the United States of America are ran by the Edomites, the so-called white man. All right, and this is the last heathen to rule pursuant to prophecy. All right, so these other countries, they're drinking that cup, because the Lord has allowed Babylon the Great to be such a influential nation. All right, to that these other countries want to forsake their own customs and follow after America because they see America striving and they want to be part of that. They want to be part of that prosperity. All right, but little do they know it's only going to be short-lived. All right, Babylon the Great is going to be short-lived. Okay, soon as they make the RFID microchip mandatory, not soon after, the end of America is going to come to pass. Okay, so until then, these other nations see the prosperity of America and they say to themselves, we want a piece of that. What is it that America's doing that we can do better and have that same type of prosperity? All right, but little do they know, America was set up to be this golden cup, this beacon of prosperity. All right, because why? All the nations are going to drink of that philosophy, that ideology, and what? Become mad. All right, because the whole earth will be influenced by America. All right, it is technology, because that's part of the golden cup. Okay, and America, with this new American AI action plan, as we're going to let play a little bit, is going to be the leading country or the leading nation in this technology. All right, because it's theirs to have. All right, and these other nations, they're going to try to rival it. They may have their own form or version of it, but make no mistake where it comes from. All right, it comes from the beast himself, America. All right, so let's let this play, and let's see what this AI action plan is all about. Let's see if we can get one. I want to get this one right here from AP.
President is getting ready.
So let's see if we can go to this one right here. Of course, the one that I want to see.
California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu joins me now from Capitol Hill. He formerly served as the co-chair of the House Task Force on Artificial Intelligence. Ted, it's great to have you with me. Thanks for joining us. The Biden administration...
The one that states 157 is the one I want to use, but it'll go to the one above and the one below, but not this one.
President is getting ready to give a major address on AI. Details of the AI action plan will be released today at a summit in Washington called Winning the AI Race. I want to bring in Mark Sullivan, who's a senior writer at Fast Company. He focuses on artificial intelligence and its effects on business and culture. All right, Mark, so what can we expect out of this big, grand AI strategy?
Well, this is going to be the administration's grand plan, which they promised right up front in this new administration. And it's going to cover the most important aspects of promoting AI, both at home and our influence around the world. And it's probably going to contain, in some form, points on what the government can do to increase innovation and clear away barriers to innovation on AI, so that the U.S. can take a position of leadership in the world. And that could include some language on what we call woke AI, which XAI's Grok is an example of that. It'll have to do with energy, clearing away barriers to creating new energy sources to power data.
So just to make it clear, the government wants to use AI, but it doesn't want to use woke AI. In the eyes of the government, it wants to use AI to do good, such as global warming and things of that magnitude, as opposed to Grok, which is a form of AI, but they want to deem it woke, all right? So it's the same play, man. The left and the right-hand side, whether it's woke or not, it's still artificial intelligence, all right? And when you go into that word intelligence, if I'm not mistaken, it goes into demon, all right? And people are already possessed with the demons in their hands, which is these smartphones. So how much more once they turn it up a notch and really allow AI, artificial intelligence, to take over, man? You people are really going to be possessed, because a person can't go a day without their smartphones attached to them, showing you that the demons are already possessed in them. All right, they leave home without their smartphone. They could be almost to their destiny, halfway across town. And if they ain't got their smartphone, they're going to turn all the way back around and go get it. What could possess you to do something like that? Nothing other than a damn demon, all right? Because you don't feel secure or safe without your smartphone. You don't know if your family member may be in trouble and you're going to get hurt. Are they going to get hurt? They need to call you. You don't know if you're going to need to look up something while you're at the store. You don't know what you're going to need your phone for, all right? Showing you that this nation has created a demon, okay, with this artificial intelligence, all right, that they've given you on your smartphone. So how much more once they give it to you on that chip, all right, you're really going to be possessed, because it's going to be inside of you, and you're not going to be able to brush it off as, oh, I just left my phone, I may be able to get around the day without having it. No, if you don't have that RFID microchip inside of you, you will not be able to get around in this society. All right? That's where it's heading. All right? That's where this AI is heading to. All right? If you don't have the RFID microchip, which is going to be a form of artificial intelligence on the chip, because it's going to allow you to do so many things, you won't be able to go a day without having that RFID microchip. Because why? Your doctor's office is going to require it. Your school, if you still go there, is going to require it. Everything in this man's society is going to require you to have some form of verification, which is going to be on the RFID microchip, which is going to be housed and stored in these data centers, which is going to be used by these AI, artificial intelligence demons, man. Okay? So if you don't have it, good luck trying to go by with your day by day and get through with it. All right? It's going to be impossible. So let's go back and hear speak some more.
World, and that could include some language on what we call woke AI, which XAI's Grok is an example of that. It'll have to do with energy, clearing away barriers to creating new energy sources to power data centers, and it might include some language about what the government can do to help finance some of the innovation that's going to be needed for this push.
So the White House says the plan will promote AI dominance in the world. How does the U.S. plan on doing that when it feels like we're sort of behind the eight ball? Not because of companies like ChatGPT and the others that are managed here, but it does feel like the technology seems to be lagging what we see in other countries.
Well, I think there would be strong disagreement with that opinion, at least here in Silicon Valley. The overriding opinion here is that the U.S. does remain in the lead on AI models and apps, and we even remain in the lead in.
And there's no other country that's rivaling America, man. Okay? That's why when this place gets taken out, these other countries are going to lament and mourn for it. Because why? The prosperity of America. These other nations can come and sell and do anything they want to because of the whoredom of America promotes. Okay? America has no values, man. That's why it's the golden cup. All right? That's been in the Lord's hand. These other nations see the prosperity of America and they want a piece of it. All right? But because of the other nations' background, they can't be prosper as America. Okay? Because America was set up to be that damn whore that rides on many waters, man. All right? See, these other nations, they don't get the prophecy, man. All right? America is that prophecy. Babylon the Great, that's going to be destroyed in 1 hour. All right? And these nations, they're gonna drink it up the wine, and then they're gonna become mad in the sense that they're gonna follow after the Babylonian American ways, and then they're gonna be mad because they're gonna burn this whore with fire. All right? Because why? They're gonna see what this destruction is going to do to the world, man. All right? And in the fight for dominance, they're going to come all against them that can bend the bow is going to come against America to destroy this place, man. All right? So it's only a matter of time. Okay? So let's go back and let it play some more.
With that opinion, at least here in Silicon Valley, the overriding opinion here is that the U.S. does remain in the lead on AI models and apps, and we even remain in the lead in robotics. But the lead has been growing much smaller, and we feel pressure, competitive pressure from China, especially with what we've seen from them in terms of they've just been releasing a ton of humanoid robots over the last year, and
China is a formidable opponent, but at the end, it's no Babylon, man. It's no land of Chaldeans. All right, their sorcerers don't stand up a chance, against America. You got to remember, America brought forth the television. All right, that evil demon. Okay, see, America is dealing with a demon on a whole different level, man. All right, then America is dealing with a demon on the psychological level, man. All right, through its influence. Okay, through what? Through the destruction of the Israelites. All right, this is where all 12 tribes are at in America, man. All right. So America has been able to have all 12 tribes to sin against our power Yahweh, which is in turn has put them as the leading nation in this technology, man. All right? This is the only place on earth where all 12 tribes are at, okay? And are sinning, which is breaking the law and committing iniquity, sin on top of sin. See, America is good at that. All right, these other nations, they're not good as America with that. Sure, you may have a sprinkling of all the tribes in some other part of the world like UK or Europe or whatever, but for the most part, those places have some type of morale, all right? America is, throwing caution out the wind, all right? You can do whatever you want to do here in America, all right? And the other nations don't get that point. All right, that's why they'll never be able to rival America in being wicked. All right, therefore, they won't be the vessel or tool that's used to bring forth this RFID microchip. All right, which is going to be partially AI. All right, because you're going to have your own personal assistants. Okay, just like that one cartoon, that anime where you had this dude who had this snake-like appendage off his shoulder talking to him. All right, I wish I knew the name of that anime cartoon. I don't know if it was a movie that they turned into a movie, but it had this damn snake-looking thing hanging off this guy's shoulder, and it would talk to him. All right. Well, guess what? AI is going to be similar to. It's going to be your own voice, own personal voice. All right. It's going to talk to you. Okay. You're going to, instead of Siri, you're going to have this AI talking inside your head. It's going to distort the voice you hear from your conscious and the voice you hear from AI. All right. You're going to be through once you take this.
I guess I should clarify that I meant that it feels as if the technology is being used by other countries more efficiently than it has been here in the United States. And the other big question that I have, and I've talked about this with our Money Watch correspondent, Kelly O'Grady, you need a lot of water and electricity and space to store AI equipment. Many low-income communities of color specifically have been outspoken about having some of these facilities going up in their neighborhoods. But talk about that impact. I mean, do we have here in the United States enough electricity to power this AI revolution when the grid, for example, goes down in Texas whenever there's really bad weather there?
And where I'm at, there's a little called data center where they're housing these type of mining tools to house AI and everything else. You know, it used to be a Costco, but now they turned that into, you know, one of these data centers, man. So yeah, it ain't far-fetched to believe some of these abandoned buildings they're going to use to house certain type of information on these data centers and these clouds for AI. All right, right in the hoods. All right where the poor people at. All right, because why? They don't give a damn, man. Okay. They don't give a damn about the radiation, about the harmful waves that these data centers could be emitting to the people around it that live there. All right, they could care less, man. All right, it's all about pushing that mark of the beast, okay? That RFID microchip. They could care less about your health, your well-being, okay? You're going to have that chip to go see a doctor anyways, all right? So once you take that chip, man, expect things to only get worse from there on out.
Power this AI revolution. But talk about that impact. I mean, do we have here in the United States enough electricity to power this AI revolution when the grid, for example, goes down in Texas whenever there's really bad weather there?
And don't worry about the power because they already got that figured out. All right. You people are going to be the main source of the power that's going to power this AI. Once they put that chip inside you, you're going to be the power source. All right. Your breath, every step you take, your energy that you use, they're going to use and house that as the energy to power this AI technology, this RFID microchip.
And these things are just sprawling to the English language, to process the English language and work out its secrets. The English language.
Like I said, they got one right around the corner from where I stay at. Used to be a Costco, man. And a lot of these warehouses, man, they're going to house these data centers, man. All right? A lot of these warehouses, these abandoned warehouses, they're going to fix it up and they're going to put these data centers in it, man. All right? And the people that live close by, they're going to have long-term effects, man. All right? Especially if they take that chip.
When the grid, for example, goes down in Texas whenever there's really bad weather there.
Yeah, it's a point of contention. The tech companies are saying that we don't have enough power. We've got to remember that what makes this AI thing work is that they figured out how to apply a ton of computing power to the English language, to process the English language and work out its secrets. So that means that for every time these models work, they need a huge data center. And these things are just sprawling behemoths that need a lot of land. They need a lot of electricity, mainly for cooling. And so the demand is very high. Anthropic, one of the AI companies here in San Francisco, says that we need 50 gigawatts of new power, which is about 50 Hoover dams just in 2027 to power these data centers. And what we've seen so far is, building these things. I think the fear is that the environmental considerations, the permitting considerations may be pushed aside by the government potentially to clear the way for the build of these big data centers.
Really interesting. Mark Sullivan, thank you very much for joining.
As we gather this afternoon, we're still in the earliest days of one of the most important technological revolutions in the history of the world. Around the globe, everyone is talking about artificial intelligence. I find that too artificial. I can't stand it. I don't even like the name. I don't like anything that's artificial. So could we straighten that out, please? We should change the name. I actually mean that. I don't like the name artificial anything because it's not artificial. It's genius. It's pure genius, and its potential to transform every type of human endeavor and domain of human knowledge, from medicine to manufacturing to warfare and national defense. Whether we like it or not, we're suddenly engaged in.
Yeah, so that's the demon, man. It's going to be in every walk and part of your life, man. Every walk and part of your life, you're going to be possessed by this demon, by this artificial, or as Trump said, this genius, okay? You're going to be possessed by this genius demon, okay? AI. It's going to be in every part of your life. When you take that RFID microchip, this is your new God, all right? This is going to be the demon that's going to be plaguing you in the mind, all right?
A fast-paced competition to build and define this groundbreaking technology that will determine so much about the future of civilization itself. America is the country that started the AI race. And as President of the United States, I'm here today to declare that America is going to win it. We're going to work hard. We're going to win it. Because we will not allow any foreign nation to beat us. Our children will not live on a planet controlled by the algorithms of the adversaries advancing values and interests contrary to our own. So from this day forward, it'll be a policy of the United States to do whatever it takes to lead the world in artificial intelligence. Such an important thing happening. This is really something that nobody expected. It just popped out of the air, and here we are. But we will defend our nation, our values, our future, and our freedom, and it will be really great.
Hi, I'm Jackie, co-owner of Gymnastics USA, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to the big...
Right, so it says Ecclesiasticus 25:13. It says, give me any plague, okay? Says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart. See? And once you take this artificial intelligence, which is going to be put on that RFID microchip, and you put it in your mind, your heart, because it says, A, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their forehead or in their right hand. Once you receive that plague, that mark, guess what? You're going to be possessed, man. All right? You're going to be possessed by this demon. All right? So,
Gymnastics Center in Florida, right?
So the thing of it is, hey, this AI action plan, because that's what they calling it, AI action plan, is just the demon plan. Okay? This AI, or as he said, genius plan, is nothing but the demon plan. All right? You're going to be possessed. All right? Says, give me any plague but the plague of the heart. All right? Showing you that what? Once you get possessed by this demon, hey, ain't no saving you, man. Ain't no rebuking, ain't no repenting, ain't no turning back. Because this is the sin that's going to cause a lot of our people to be destroyed in the World War III, the third war. All right. So let's grab some precepts. Okay. This is Jeremiah. Where we at? 51. And let's go to verse 7. This is Jeremiah 51:7. It reads, Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. See, they're going to have that plague of heart too. Okay, they're going to be mad. All right, because why? They're going to find out that they can't be that golden cup. All right, they're going to find out that they can't be the wicked. All right. What does it say? Job 9:24. This prophecy is designed for a nation of people. All right. See, and these other nations, they fighting to be the wicked, which they can't. Okay, they can't be the wicked, man. The wicked is set for a particular nation, a group of people known as the Edomites. Okay. This is Job 9:24. It reads, the earth. See? The earth. This is why these nations are mad, because they want to be in power right now. All right? Which seems like a time to be ruling. Because of what? The prosperity. All right? And they figure they can get their AI. They can figure they can be their technology, if it could be the one that's leading the tech age, they can be what they deem the golden cup. All right. But they can't be the golden cup because they're not the wicked. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. See, Yahweh has given them the golden cup to be the wicked. It says he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. You ain't gonna see a Moabite Jesus. You ain't gonna see a Elam Buddha or Jesus. All right, you're gonna see a Buddha. You're gonna see those nations' gods. Okay, you're not going to see them posing as the people of the Bible. Why? Because they weren't given the Bible. Now, Jacob and Esau are tethered or joined at the hand. You see, Esau, his religion or his God is the bite off of Jacob's, okay? Because why? He's a vagabond in the spirit. He's Cain, okay? Walking the earth, all right? He's a vagabond. He doesn't have a power or a God. So what did he do? He hijacked ours, all right? And in doing so, he covered the faces of the judges thereof, all right? He made who the world English calls Jesus, look like himself. When we know, according to the Bible, he looks like a so-called black man. His name is Yahushua. He made all the prophets look like him. All right? These other nations, they don't have that type of wickedness. Okay? That's why they can't be the leading wicked. All right? They can be wicked, but they can't be the leader in wicked. That's preserved for Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right? And in doing so, the Lord has given that golden cup to have the other nations mad because they want to follow and pursue after him. They see this devil getting prosperity, how strong and mighty their military are, and they want that piece of the pie too. But little do they know that comes with a cost. Okay, the Most High is using them to set them up to show to the earth just how powerful the Lord is. He could take a base man as base as Esau, Edom, and rise him up to the status where every nation is looking at him as some type of God. All right. And then what? He's going to break him down. As it says, I saw Satan fall from heaven like lightning. All right. That's when you go into Revelation 18. Okay. This place will be destroyed, and all the other nations are going to lament and mourn in 1 hour. So great riches are gone, roughly paraphrasing. Okay. So see, these other nations want something that they know nothing about. Okay. All right. But that doesn't stop them from being ambitious, which is the Lord. The Lord is going to use their ambition towards being wicked to destroy the wicked. All right. Because why? In their attempt to be the wicked, they have stepped up their game in the nuclear arsenal arena. Now they got missiles that can rival America, which the Lord is going to use against America. And then other Edomite nations, NATO and EU, are going to turn on the whore. All right. That's pursuant to Revelation 17, if I'm not mistaken. All right. The 10 horns. All right. They're going to hate the whore. All right. So you see, you can't stop prophecy, man. All you can do is understand it. All right. But these other nations, they don't understand it because why? The law, statute, commandment wasn't given to them. All right. They don't know about the wicked. All right. To them, they think they got next. So it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who else? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. You see, if it ain't Esau, Edom, who else fits the bill? All right. No one else. No other nation of people fit this bill. Okay. It goes on to say, where and who is he? If it's not the so-called white man, it can't be Japhet. Okay. He ain't in power. He don't have this type of wickedness. All right. It can't be Elam. It can't be Ham. It's no other than the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. All right. Back to Jeremiah 51. See, because this is preserved for the wicked, man. All right. Babylon have been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. See, this is what the nations think, that they can be just as good, if not better than Babylon, but they don't understand their part or their role in this movie. It says, the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Give me any plague but the plague of the heart. See, the heart goes into your mind, Jeremiah 17, okay? The heart is deceitful above all other things and wickedly. Who can know it, okay? So these other nations, they've been plaguing the mind, but once you take that RFID microchip, you're going to be plagued in the heart, in the mind. You're going to be possessed, okay? You're going to be possessed by a what? By a demon, okay? An intelligent demon, all right? This is what the AI is leading up to. You people are already possessed. Little do they know, they leave home without their phone. They feel like they gonna lose it and flip out. That's straight up possession, man. All right? That's what they call dependent. All right, you are dependent. You depend on this damn phone. You dependent on this phone for your source of outside, information. Okay, because prior to these smartphones, there was a time where you just had to wait till you get back home and check your voicemail. All right, you just had to get back home and wait for a phone call. You had to look up stuff. All right, see, the demon wasn't as prevalent as it is now. Now the demon, hey, it's out of the bag, like the genie in the bottle, man. All right, this demon is out the bottle, man. All right, this AI is here, man, and it's just moving forward. No putting it back in the bottle. All right, it's out. All right, it is going to be tethered and joined with the RFID microchip. right? So let's go to Revelation 13. And let's start at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. See? So there's going to be a price to pay if you don't worship the image of the beast, all right? Which is this grid that they're putting up, which is this new, what they call fourth industrial revolution, all right? Which if you don't worship, if you don't take that chip, you will be killed, man, all right? It says, hey, some of us will be killed. Revelation 20:4. But if you oppose the beast system, you'll be put down, all right? The image is the whole system, all right? The image is the system that they put together right now, the infrastructure, where if you want to buy and sell, guess what? You got to have the mark of the beast, all right? It says, verse 16, and he causes all. This is particular Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark, a charagma in their right hand or in their foreheads. And when they do, they will be possessed. All right? When you take that mark, that charagma, you will be possessed by this demon, by their demons. Okay? By this artificial intelligence. It says, in that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Okay? So the beast system is here. They put the final touches on it. AI will be the leading technology backed by the mark of the beast. And those that take it will be indeed possessed. As it says, I believe that's 1 Timothy 6, for what shall it profit a man if he should gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or that might be St. Mark 8 and 36 down to 38. For what should it profit a man if he should gain the world and lose his own soul? See? So once that beast takes hold of you and you possessed by that demon, you've lost your soul. There's no more connection with the Most High. All right? Your conscience has been distorted. All right? You're not going to be able to tell, quote unquote, good from wrong. All right, like they show you in those movies with a little angel sitting on one side and the devil sitting on the next side. In that time, once you take that chip, you're going to have a devil on both sides of your shoulders. Fully autonomous, taking over all facets of your life, your thoughts, your breathing, everything. All right? This is what's coming with this AI, this artificial intelligence, this genius demon. Okay? This is what's to be expected. All right? Whether you believe it or not. Okay? So this beast is coming. Okay? As it says, what's that? 1 Thessalonians? It might be second. Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. So it's already here. This beast system is already here, man. All right. It's going to cause the people to sin, speaking of the Israelites, against their power. It says, only he who now litteth will let, until he, Esau Edom, be taken out of the way. How? by the bright and shining coming of our Lord and Savior Yahushua. All right, He's going to expose this devil. We have already exposed him, but once Yahushua shows up, you're going to say undeniable that this is the devil. And when you see that it's a so-called black man that's going to take this so-called white man out of power, then you can't deny anything. All right, but by that time it's going to be way too late. Okay, it's going to be way too late. By that time, you've already going to be possessed by this demon, all right? By this genius, as Trump called it, all right? But we know it as AI, artificial intelligence, all right? Because it's anything but intelligent, all right? Once you take this chip, you ain't going to be intelligent enough to tell right from wrong, all right? When you get chipped, everything is going to seem right to you, but it's going to be wrong in the eyes of the Lord, man. All right? No matter what you do from that point forward, it's going to be wrong in the eyes of the Lord. All right? That's why, hey, ain't no repenting from once you take this chip. Ain't no coming back, man. All right? Ain't no coming back from once you take this chip. That's it. You just got to wait to get dipped in the lake of fire. All right? So this AI action plan to move forward, to be the leading, to be the leading country in this technology is all part of the mark of the beast. All right. So we're going to close up and wrap up with 1 Peter, 5 and 8. 1 Peter 5 and 8, it reads, be sober, be vigilant. All right, this is the time. Because once you take that chip and you let that artificial intelligence merge with your so-called conscience, at that time you ain't going to have no conscience anymore. All right, your conscience, your thoughts are going to belong to them. Okay? So now it is the time to be sober and to what? To be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. AI, artificial intelligence, genius, demon, okay? They're going to be on demon time, man, okay? This devil is going to be on demon time, man. And that's why it says, if it had not been for the elect's sake, no flesh would have been saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, all right? This man's going to go on demon time. Once this thing is made mandatory, it's a wrap, man. You think the cat's out the bag now, the cat's going to be running when he let this device come public and be made mandatory. All right? Ain't going to be no hold bars then. That's why the Lord's going to have to come soon. Okay? Because this man is going to be truly wicked in that time. He's already wicked, but when that happens, that's it. He's going to feel like a god. All right? He's going to look at himself as a god. All right? And then that's when the Lord's going to show up and spoil his plans, pursuing to Job. All right? When his belly is about to be full. All right? The Lord going to make him vomit it all up, man. All right? So this devil's going to be on demon time in a short while, man. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. All right? So with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.